Whiteness's gravitational pull is so strong that once a previously non-racialized subject is caught in its warping of social space-time, it is nearly impossible to eject oneself from the racialized white system, a process which requires a higher escape velocity, and as energy is proportional to the mass multiplied...
Alright, okay. Alright. Yeah, we get it. You need rockets to get into space. You don't need to give us this equation. They've actually written E equals mc squared.
You can't even read it. And as energy is proportional to the mass multiplied by the speed of light squared, E equals mc squared. Whites neither muster enough mass support nor efficiently illuminate the racial problem to achieve the energy required. For the race traitor, there is only one possibility or hope: race treason. This is a paper from the journal Whiteness and Education, and as I'm sure you can see from the intro, this is quite a hilarious paper that I had a rather fun time recording with my friend Red Rose. Please stay tuned to the end of the video where we're going to have a look at how much this ridiculous paper cost, and how much it costs universities. They've used the phrase blancocentric universe.
That's French for white, I know that much.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody appeals to foreign languages for legitimacy. If they said white-centric, I don't think it'd be quite as academic sounding.
White boy-centric. Spelled B-O-I. That'd be even less legitimate.
Yeah, it says, social physics describes the blancocentric universe as functioning around the gravitational pull of whiteness, explaining why race relations looks the way it does and assumes its power configurations. That means nothing. What is that?
But why though? So I didn't you've read it to me and I still don't understand what that sentence means. Social physics describes... So the word physics doesn't belong in this sentence. This new social field, or study something or other, describes the white person-centric universe as functioning around the gravitational pull of whiteness. That's just bollocks. Explaining why race relations looks the way it does. And halfway through the sentence I have to start it again because it's just so much crap.
Whether whites are supposed to arrive at a reconstructed whiteness or its abolition, remade or reborn, a journey is assumed.
What? Wait, go back. Hang on. So they're saying, regardless of whether whiteness is captured by the one or the many, the dominant trope for understanding whiteness is through images of travel.
Images of...
What? Whether whites are supposed to arrive at reconstructed whiteness or journey is assumed. Oh, I say.
Just read the fucking subheading for this next chapter. Well, this next part of the essay.
The white hole and its event horizon, the Tropic of... Oh! I can't get through the title without just dying on the inside.
They can't write a normal person sentence, can they? They can't write a sentence that makes sense to a regular person.
Probably. Well, I reckon you could find one. If you tried hard enough, you could find one.
Ask people of colour what it means to be white, and you are likely to record a patterned response that associates it with power, privilege, or prestige. In other words, there is a tendency to congeal whiteness into an essence.
Ooh. Congeal whiteness into an essence. The cooking or something, I don't know.
Like manna.
Take one lemon.
Frog newt.
Shave the... I was thinking, oh god.
Trying
to think of an essence that you use for cooking and then... Anyway.
Essence of nightshade.
That's poisonous, isn't it?
Yeah, is that from Skyrim? Essence of nightshade.
No.
See, Essence of Nightshade sounds racist because it has night in it and night is black.
Yeah.
If it was Essence of Whiteness, it'd be less racist.
Either they haven't provided any evidence for what they've just said, or I just don't understand what they've said.
They do that. When they're giving their ideological spiel, they provide sources. When they say something like, science is terrible, or medicine causes cancer or whatever, they provide no sources for the stuff you think, Or when they say white people do this, or when you add white people to this, it causes blank. No evidence.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've gone ask people of colour what it means to be white, and the responses that you get are power, privilege, or prestige. Funnily enough, all begin with the same letter for that lovely literary Wow, privilege,
Oh,
prestige,
we're
and
using a
then
literary
no
alliteration.
evidence. Yeah, I mean, they've obviously had an English teacher proofread this and gone, haha, we should put a use of three here, and we'll make it sound better. Obviously, the person who's done that thought it was fiction because they didn't correct any of the rest of it.
Similarly, peering through a historical telescope, as it were, over space and time, deep whiteness appears like a relatively unchanging, milky substance, a webby, lumpy structure. Or, as the saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. As whiteness morphs from one structure to another, its overall purpose does not change.
What?
So the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Oh, deep.
To be clear, there has always been different kinds of whites. White women, rich whites, gay whites, southern versus northern whites, etc. There have been different whites. White people are different. Like, that's some sort of revolutionary discovery.
Oh my god, white people aren't all white males. Jesus. Oh, I mean, white straight males, my goodness. Sometimes they live in different places. Holy shit, there's more than one of them.
The funniest thing is he cited somebody. He had to cite somebody.
There are different types of white people.
Says Hartman 2004. What I hate about them is that they bitch at people who are on their side. There are many problems still to be worked out, not the least of which are the continuing privileges that anti-racist whites embody or accrue as participants in anti-racism. People who are on their team, they don't like.
You are privileged, therefore you're not allowed to be anti-racist. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
They made a spelling mistake here.
Proofreading when?
Like the black hole, the while hole is a puncture in space-time wherein the social universe follows a wholly different logic and defines the one we know, calling it inverted as in Marx and Engels' concept of the chimera obscura. It does not do it justice.
Is that like Latin or French or something?
Latin, I think.
Chimera obscura.
Like black holes, whiteness is incorrigible, and it devours whatever lies in its path. As it gorges itself, it becomes more powerful, as it accretes more matter. Like the black hole, it also projects ideological chimeras that hide its own physics.
You what?
You what, mate?
Exactly. They're like, oh, we have to use metaphors to describe whiteness, and then their metaphors barely make sense. You may as well just spend this time describing what whiteness is to someone. Rather than going, well, see, we should use these metaphors. We'll have to spend 10 hours explaining what this metaphor means. And we could have explained what we're trying to use the metaphor to explain in about 5 hours.
Ask whites what it means to be white, and you are likely to receive as many answers as there are respondents. As if white people aren't people, and as if we're not individuals.
Everyone must give the same response, beep boop.
We are the Borg. We will assimilate.
Beep boop. Or is that? Are they robots? I can't remember.
The bot, yeah, a little bit.
I'm just reminded of the
You will be assimilated.
The Unity episode from Rick and Morty. What's going on here?
I've read other papers on the same subject, and they're easy to read. This paper goes out of its way to be a fucking thesaurus of Borg.
Oh yeah, that's what you got to do. Oh yeah, if you want to make your.
They've literally gone on Word document. And then right-clicked everything, and then gone to the thesaurus thing and just picked some. Oh, that sounds obscure and.
I cannot use the word use. If I've ever used the word use, I will Control F and replace in Word and put utilize instead because it sounds better. Fuck readability. I want my words to have lots of syllables in them.
Every paragraph we get to, and there's just this bollocks. Look at this. In this perspective, whiteness is captured less by the trope of the singularity found in the center black holes, but rather by the shapes and shades of the nebula. Whiteness is opaque, its truth obscured by gaseous identities, fake agendas, and different hues of colours. It is not ugly at the core, or monstrous like the singularity, to the disappointment of the abolitionist. In fact, like nebulas, whiteness is two-sided rather than Janus-faced. Nebulas contain their own hotspots of violence, like extreme heat that leads to stellar creation, as well as moments of beauty like nature's fireworks show when light waves heat the surrounding gas that glows with resplendent colours. That entire paragraph is just...
Is this person schizophrenic or something? Because they've sometimes they write things that might make sense, and then they just go off on one and just write something random. So whiteness is not described very well by black holes, but actually more like a nebula. Okay, all right, I understand this sentence.
Whiteness's gravitational pull is so strong that once a previously non-racialized subject is caught in its warping of social space-time, it is nearly impossible to eject oneself from the racialized white system, a process which requires a high escape velocity, and as energy is proportional to the mass multiplied...
All right, okay, all right. Yeah, we get it. You need rockets to get into space. You don't need to give us this equation. They've actually written E equals mc squared.
You can't even read it. I'm laughing so hard. And as energy is proportional to the mass multiplied by the speed of light squared, E equals mc squared. Whites neither muster enough mass support nor efficiently illuminate the racial problem to achieve the energy required. For the race traitor, there is only one possibility or hope: race treason.
Race treason. I'm not sure whether this person is like so progressive I just don't understand, or they're just a racist idiot and don't realise.
Are there in drugs? This has to be the best drugs.
I mean, you can still write papers on it and everything. It's great. I'm sure it would be.
This is peer reviewed. People read this and said yes. Not just one person, multiple people. Like a group of people read this and said yes. As theories of whiteness proliferate, the domain of whiteness expands into previously unmarked territories, such that whiteness is not only an identity, but a performance. Discourse. He cited himself. Or has he? Leonardo? Yeah, he cited himself.
Nice. Real smooth.
Fuck me. You'll never guess how many times he cited himself.
He's done it. He's done it twice in one sentence.
He cited himself once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times.
This is why he's the most prolific guy in his field. Is he just spams out papers like he's got nothing else to do.
Oh my god, I read another paper today where they just cite themselves, and I swear every paper I do on this channel, it's gonna be the author citing themselves. 7 times? That's the most times I've seen.
That's a lot of times. What's he citing himself for?
I'll read the titles. The Souls of White Folk, Critical Pedagogy, Whiteness Studies and Globalization Discourse. That's the first paper. Interpretation and the Problem of Domination. Paul Ricoeur's Hermeneutics. Number 3. Race, Whiteness and Education. Number 4. Race Frameworks, a multidimensional theory of racism and education. Number 5. Whiteness and Emo Social Justice.
Oh, that's a good one. Emo Social Justice. That'll be a good read, I'm sure.
Number 6. White Historical Activity Theory toward a critical understanding of white zones of proximal development.
What? White zones of proximal development. Okay. There's more words to Google. I'm learning things. That much I'll say.
Number 7. Whiteness as technology of effect, implications for educational praxis.
What? He sounds like an action hero, I swear. Zeus Leonardo is off to avenge the murder of his wife and child, or some like horrifically generic plot, or something. You know, that
It's like Nicolas Cage.
kind of action film. Nicolas Cage, yeah.
It means It means letting go of and holding on to whiteness at the same time. How can you let go of and hold on to something at the same time? That's doublethink, isn't it?
Who wants you to only hold on to the good parts and let go of the bad parts of being white, of whiteness? Because he can't outright call all white people racist. He's just going to say that if you're white, you fall into the category of having whiteness, and whiteness is racism, basically. Or being, this guy. I don't think he's a fan of white people, to be honest.
That is a good conclusion. So, chaps, let's have a look at how much this crap costs, shall we? So this one article for 24 hours access can be purchased for €35. The corresponding currencies, pound sterling and US dollars, will be on screen. So, and I think US dollars is about €35 anyway. Let's have a look at how much universities pay for this lovely content, shall we? That's... So if you just want to buy for 2016 or 2017, we're talking 200 or so euros. You can see here it's quite a lot. And if you want to buy some DLC, the race and ethnicity and education pack, online only, that's €1,404. That's about the same in US dollars. That's quite substantial for a university to be paying. These are the institution costs. Think about how many universities, and I imagine quite a decent amount, if you look at how many the professors that contribute to this journal, they're from all around the UK, they're paying, these universities are subscribing to this journal, that's a lot of money. If you want more Crapademia in your feed, then please do subscribe to the Brumley Punch. Follow me on Twitter, on Minds. We recently published a blog on the previous paper that we had a look at, and that was adequate. So follow me on those channels. You could also go to Discord and we could play video games and kill Teletubbies in Left 4 Dead. It should be so epic. And also, I was going to say something else, but I forgot. So anyway, good day.